Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be my X-Men 97 Episode 9 review. This was another incredible episode. Literally every episode of X-Men 97 has been terrific. I don't think I can really remember another season of television where every single episode is basically a 9 out of 10. It is truly some incredible television, and speaking of incredible, we have something incredible to talk about very soon in this review. So the episode starts off with the aftermath of Magneto's attack. He basically set off a very powerful EMP that has just shut down the world, basically declaring war against humankind, which obviously is going to result in something really crazy for the finale. And he gets his red suit back. Yes, I love that suit so much. I have the X-Men 97 action figure of it, and it was sorely missed throughout the show. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, the M suit is kind of cool, but I prefer the classic red and purple. He just looks so badass, and you know he's going to be a full-on villain now when he's got that suit on. And now that Magneto and Charles are on Earth at the same time, their ideals are butting heads again, which is just so awesome to see. We've got Professor X kind of realizing that his dream kind of fell apart while he was gone, and maybe he's starting to doubt himself a little bit too. I think that's a really interesting aspect to the character of Professor X. His dream has become an absolute nightmare. And then on top of that, Magneto is basically poaching some of his X-Men team because Magneto gave them a choice. He was like, you know what, you can stick with Professor X and be extinct in a few years, or you can join me and we can fight back. And what do you know, Rogue ends up joining Magneto. She obviously feels a bit of comfort with him now that Remy is gone, and then on top of that, she is pissed because she just lost Remy and then she thought she lost Magneto, so it looks like she's going to be reverting back to her villainous origins, which I think is going to be really cool to see. And Roberto ended up joining Magneto as well. I was not expecting that, but now you've got some drama between Jubilee and Roberto. I think that's going to be pretty cool to explore as well. And this show is just so well written, man. There's so many iconic moments in all of the episodes that revolve around the dialogue and just the storytelling in general. It is very good. The way that we have this kind of soap opera going on with the X-Men team, and the fact that it's not gotten stale at all after 9 episodes is honestly really amazing. And Bo DeMeo, you deserve all of the praise that you're getting right now, because this is peak X-Men. I would even say this is like one of the best things Marvel ever. Not just Marvel Studios, like ever. That's truly how good this show is. Then we had a really nice father-son moment with Cyclops and Cable, where he gives him his new suit, and I really like this suit, and it's just nice to see Cable actually part of the X-Men now. And I'm really hoping that he stays with the team, he doesn't just leave at the end of the season, because I think he's a really interesting character, and it would be cool to have a father and son on the main X-Men team. That would be pretty cool. And this is the episode that we get the costume joke, referring to the original X-Men movies about wearing black leather, and then in those Bryan Singer X-Men movies, they made a joke about yellow spandex, which a lot of the characters in X-Men 97 wear, so it was just a full circle moment, lighthearted humor, you know, and I really enjoyed that joke. Now we gotta talk about those classic costumes, because a lot of the costumes were damaged in episode 8, like Wolverine's for example, so the team needed new ones, and we got some really cool costumes here. The costumes are basically the ones from the Uncanny X-Men comics, which I think look really good. Although they're not my favorite costumes, like honestly the original X-Men 97 costumes that they had at the beginning of the season are my absolute favorite costumes like ever. That Cyclops costume, the Wolverine with the yellow, black, and blue, those are some of my favorite costumes of all time, and the fact that they changed it, you know, I was a little bit worried about because I don't want them to change, but I gotta say the costumes do look pretty damn good in the show, especially that Wolverine one. I'm personally not a big fan of the brown suit, but it looks absolutely fire in this show. And overall, I just like the look. It's refreshing, it's new. Maybe they go back to the old costumes later on, but for now, it is nice to have a little bit of a change up. Then we got a really nice sister moment between Aurora and Jean, which I thought was really touching. And it's just crazy how much chemistry all these characters have. Like, it's honestly amazing. And you just get really invested in these characters. Like, when Aurora is saying that Jean is her sister and that she's, like, inspired her and everything, you really feel that, and that's something that's missing from a lot of MCU projects and just superhero projects in general. You're not that invested into the characters, and this show does it spectacularly. You care about pretty much everything all these characters have to say, you care about all the different dynamics, and I think Storm might have been foreshadowing that Jean is going to become the Phoenix in the final episode, because even in the intro we see her as Phoenix, and then in this episode it looks like Cable kills her, which obviously I don't think she's dead. I think the Phoenix Force is is going to save her, and then she's just going to go berserker mode, just decimating Sentinels, going after Sinister and Bastion, and it is going to be one epic moment. I already know the music is going to like build up, and then we're going to have Jean just go like with the fire. It's going to be awesome. Now back to something incredible that I was talking about at the beginning of the video. We got a Hulk cameo. Now it wasn't the actual Hulk, it was just Morph turned into the Hulk, but it was still really cool to see. Like, Morph is a actually really interesting character in the show because he's very comedic and likable, but then at the same time can give us some really cool cameos like this one. It was just so cool to see him turn into the Hulk because I was not expecting that, and then Jean was kind of like throwing him in the air and he was just punching Sentinels' heads off. Like, it was really awesome. I do hope we get to see the actual Hulk in this show though, because I think they might be leading up to some Avengers and X-Men team up, or maybe even Avengers versus X-Men. So it would be really cool to see the Hulk, especially because we've seen other Avengers like Spider-Man and Captain America, and who knows, maybe that finale is a giant team up episode, which I think would be really cool. Now we gotta talk about the craziest thing about today's episode, and that involves Magneto and Wolverine and Professor X. So Professor X and Magneto, like I said, they're butting heads, they're trying to talk to each other about these issues. Magneto doesn't want to hear it, he thinks he is in the right, and he cannot just sit on the sidelines anymore, he has to take action. Professor X is telling him no. Then we get this really awesome shot where Magneto puts his helmet onto Professor X and tries to just demolish his head by squeezing the helmet. It was absolutely crazy, the fact that he was willing to kill his best friend in such a gruesome way, like taking his helmet and just... But no, Wolverine steps in, claws him right through the back. Not a great idea considering he is made of metal and the Master of Magnetism can control the metal. So we get a callback to X-Men issue 25 where he just, extracts the adamantium from Wolverine. You can see he's in absolute agony as the adamantium is being ripped from his skeleton. I just couldn't believe they actually did this because originally I thought this show was going to be more geared towards kids, but it is clearly geared towards the adults that watched this show as kids in the 90s, which I absolutely love because the X-Men I feel like needs to be a little bit more mature, especially when you're basing it off of a show from so long ago. And the fact that they're willing to do crazy stuff like this is awesome. And I have a theory that Magneto is actually going to use that adamantium to make a new suit and a silver helmet, just like the white suit we saw him use in the comics. I think it would be really cool. Like, just imagine Wolverine has to go fight him in season 2 and he can see the adamantium literally on his suit. I feel like that would strike fear into someone. Like, this is the dude that just ripped the adamantium from your body and made it into a damn suit. Like, that is some threatening stuff. I would be absolutely shook, I'm not gonna lie. And then Professor X at the same time can be like, I failed Logan, my friend Eric took the metal from his body, made this new suit, now I can't get in his head because of the helmet. I think that would be a great decision from the creative team if they actually do want to do that. And then yeah, the show just ends right there. Wolverine is just freaking out, he's got adamantium flying everywhere. Really big cliffhanger. I cannot wait for the finale next Wednesday. I think they're gonna introduce Onslaught, maybe have some Avengers show up, and then I think Apocalypse is gonna show up because he's been in the intro for a while now, and I have a feeling that Gambit will return as the Horseman of Death. As a lot of you know, Apocalypse has 4 horsemen and Gambit died, so I think there's a chance that we could see Gambit return, and then maybe Apocalypse, the Avengers, and the X-Men will all kind of team up to defeat Onslaught, but then season 2, Apocalypse will be the actual villain along with Remy as one of his horsemen. I think that would be really cool. But yeah guys, overall, episode 9 of X-Men 97 was absolutely fantastic. I would say it's probably my second or third favorite out of the whole series. I am going to give episode 9 a 9.5. It is truly peak television, it is peak X-Men, it is really freaking good, and these episodes are so good that I tend to rewatch them 2 or 3 times. As a huge X-Men fan, I am beyond happy with this show. I can't wait for season 2, I can't wait for the finale next week. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about today's episode. Did you enjoy it as much as me, and what would you give it out of 10? And do you think Gambit will return in the finale? And quickly before I let you guys leave, if you are wondering where to get this X-Men shirt, just go to your local GameStop. They just came out, they're really cool, they fit nice, it's like a navy blue, similar to like Cyclops' colors. We've got the X-Men logo on the chest here, and then look at the back. It says Wolverine 97. I think this shirt is an absolute must-have for any X-Men 97 fan. So yeah, go to your local GameStop, get this shirt, watch X-Men 97, buy all the merch. It is truly an amazing show, one of my favorites of all time. The quality just does not drop. That's it from me though. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next week for the finale.